Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review. This is on loan to me. This is a Pineider La Grande Bellezza, and this is the forged carbon. Now Pineider, you can see here, Firenze 1774. This was when Pineider was founded in Firenze, or Florence, in Italy. So this comes in a box, and you'll see here it says the forged carbon stilo, and it's a 14 karat gold extra fine nib. So let's open this outer box, and you will see here the inner box, and this is a pleather style box, or plastic leather. It has the Pineider emblem there, the name Pineider, and Firenze 1774. Now this is a magnetic case, so if I remove the case here, the first thing you'll see here is you have a Pineider logo up here, you have a Pineider logo down here, the name Pineider, Firenze 1774. You also have this, which is a card sleeve, and this shows the identity card here, the instructions. Now this is 888 pens worldwide. You get the company profile there as well, and you get an international limited warranty card, and then instructions on the pen filler. So you get that all within this cardboard sleeve pouch. And then you have a number of things. You have the Pineider pen filler, which I will show you in a little bit more detail. We have a filling mechanism here, and this is just a pipette. And then we have the pen, and this is the Pineider La Grande Bellezza, and this is the forged carbon. So I think let's remove the pen. And you'll see there that is a magnetic clasp on that case. And this is the pen in its glory. Now, when Pineider came out with this, I actually thought, oh no, not another carbon fibre pen, because carbon fibre has been almost done to death in pens. But every single pen is different, and this one is different as well. So you can get carbon fibre with a single weave, which can be very brittle, and Visconti have made one of those in the Torpedo. You can get a double weave or a crisscross weave, which actually makes the carbon fibre very, very strong. And then you get this one, which is basically forged with resin, or mixed with resin. So you get the strength of the carbon fibre in the resin. And this actually is quite a strange material. So this has quite a texture to it, and this is a carbon fibre like texture, and it's also a lot heavier than I thought it would be, or at least it feels more substantial in my hands, because a lot of carbon fibre pens are very super lightweight. And I'm not saying that this is a heavy pen, but I'm saying that this feels a little bit more substantial than just a standard La Grande Bellezza in a resin material. So I think let's look at the pen in a little bit more detail. You have the Pineider finial logo there. You have the Pineider quill clip, which is quite a springy clip there, and I do like these quill clips. They are very functional. You also have the logo there of Pineider, and then an inscription there as well, and then you have the pen. So the cap tapers down slightly towards the cap finial here, and it tapers back out really to about this point where it gets to its maximum, and then you have this cap band here. The body is quite cylindrical, but it starts to taper out just around here to what they call the mystery filler. And it's not really that much of a mystery, to be honest, if I show you here in a little bit more detail. But it is, and you can see there the number of the pen, but it is basically a piston filling mechanism. But the reason why Pineider have called it a mystery filler is that you push the blind cap in and this sticks out, and then you can twist the filling knob, and then once you're done you can push it back in again, which I actually like the idea, because these piston filling knobs can actually be quite large on some pens, so that does actually make it quite nice. Now, the other thing you'll see here is that this is a magnetic closure, and it will always rotate the pen cap to the same position every single time. It's quite a strong magnet. You'll also see that there is an ink window here, because this is a piston filling mechanism. It's not a cartridge converter. You have this very shiny section, and I always thought that these sections would actually be very uncomfortable to hold, because they look quite cumbersome and uncomfortable. But they are actually very nice, because your fingers actually rest exactly where you need them to rest, and it stops your fingers then moving out onto the nib. And I find this with a lot of fountain pens, is that my fingers, certainly my middle finger here, will get ink on it because it will touch the feed or the breather hole in the nib. Now, this nib is a 14 karat gold nib. This is an extra fine nib, and you should just be able to see it there, laser engraved or laser in etched there. It's an EF nib. Now, this is the quill nib, so you will see some cutouts there on the nib there, and that allows the nib to flex a little bit more. You do get an ABS plastic feed there, so you do not get an ebonite feed in the price of this pen. But this pen is very well made and feels quite substantial in my hand, quite weighty. Now, the cap will post and post very securely, and it is magnetic, but it won't twist around when you put the cap on, but you can twist it around manually if you so wish to. I find that this actually makes the pen a little bit more back weighted, because there is a lot more weight in that cap than maybe the rest of the body. So I wouldn't normally post that cap. I actually find that this pen is actually a very good size here. If I wanted to hold it up more higher and not on that metal section, it still works for me. So I could still write with that without any problem whatsoever. But these La Grande Bellezzas, I've had a couple of these in the past. I've had a Malachite and a Rhodolite, which were cartridge converters, and I do like them. I like the writing experience. I like the very fine line that the nibs put down, and they will also flex quite a bit as well, so that you can coax more ink out of them. And that's why you have that 14 karat gold nib on there, because it is a little bit more easier to flex a 14 karat gold nib than it is many 18 karat gold nibs. So I really like this pen. This forged carbon material is really quite captivating. It's really just a mix of that carbon fibre, which actually has quite a bit of chatoyance there, with it sitting inside that resin or around that resin, being fused together or forged together. But it really is a lovely, lovely material. And from what I understand, this forged carbon material is actually very, very strong, and it is what a lot of Formula 1 car manufacturers will use on their cars. So they will mix a carbon fibre or carbon fibre weave even with resin to make them a little bit more stronger. And for me, I like this pen. It's a really nice looking pen. So I think with that, let's do a size check, a weight check, and we'll do a pen comparison. A size check, we have the length of the pen that's around about 152 millimeters with the mystery button filler pushed in. The cap is about 71 millimeters in length. We have the body, which is around about 140 millimeters in length as well. we'll do a weight check. So the full weight of the pen, uninked, is just under 51 grams. So as I said, this is quite a weighty pen, but it's not the heaviest pen that I've ever used. The cap is just under 18 grams, almost 18 grams. And then the body, uninked, we are looking around about just over 25.5 grams. So it's not a super lightweight pen, but it's not also a heavy pen. So I just wanted to show you this pen filler as well. I do have a separate review of the pen filler on my YouTube channel, but the idea is that you fill this bottle up with ink and you use this little pipette. You can use an ink syringe if you wish. Personally, I would normally use an ink syringe because it holds more capacity, but some people don't want ink syringes, and that is a nice easy way of filling it. So what you do is you unscrew this knob here, which you'll see here has a slight conical shape to it, and it gets tighter and tighter the more you push it in. And then you have this cap, and you don't need to unscrew this cap or this cover all the way, but you do if you want to clean it. You also have this inner grip section that grips the pen, and you can remove that as well. The idea is that once this is on, I'm not going to fill this pen up with the pen filler because I've already done a review of this, but you unscrew the cap a little bit, and then I will show you here. You put the pen in as far as you can get it, and then you basically screw the outer cap down tightly, and then you can use that to fill with gravity your pen and get a full fill basically. And it also allows you, once you've taken that off, you wipe off the section, put the cap back on, and then you tighten this outer sleeve back up again and put the plunger or the knob back in, and there you have it. And you can take that ink with you anywhere. It's not going to expand and the lid come off if you're flying. It's a really, really good way of filling your pen. And this does actually hold around 10 cc's or 10 milliliters of ink, which is a very, very good ink sample for you to be carrying around and being able to refill your pen multiple times. So let's do a comparison with other pens. From left to right, we have the Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero in the Hawaii. We have a Scribo Fill in the Verde Prato. We have a Sailor King of Pen Sakura Nagar. We have a Pelikan M1000 Raden Sunlight. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Swirl. We have the Pineider La Grande Bellezza in the Forged Carbon. We have a Visconti Divina Oversize in the Green Elegance. We have a Pelikan M800 Royal Gold Raden. We have an Armando Simone Club Bologna Extra Black and Gold Lucents. And we have an Armando Simone Club Bologna Extra Arco Brown. Now, let's do a writing sample. So we have the Pineider La Grande Bellezza, and this is the Forged Carbon. Now, this is a 14 karat gold nib, and this is an extra fine nib, and I think you can probably see that here from the line width here, but you can see here just how extra fine that nib is. So if I wanted to do some figure of eights, you could do quite a lot there in that small space. Now, the ink that I have inked up in this today is Pilot Iroshizuku, and it's Kiri Sami. Now, this is an extra fine nib, so it's not going to be necessarily super wet compared to some nibs, but we'll do an ink test here. There's still quite a lot of ink that it puts down, and Pilot Wash Zuku Kiri Sami I do find is actually quite a wet ink as well. So you can see there, for an extra fine nib, this actually puts down quite a lot of ink. So for me, that is actually quite a nice amount of ink that it's putting down. So what do I like and what do I not like about this pen? I like that it's a Pineider. I like that it's a La Grande Bellezza. I really do like this forged carbon. It's a beautiful material and has a texture. I do like this mystery filler where the piston knob is actually hidden away so that it distracts from the rest of the pen, and I like that it's got a magnetic clasp as well. And I like that it's a piston filling pen. So for me, this is actually a really nice pen, and I do think that these Pineiders are actually around about the right size in terms of my hand. Is there anything that I dislike about this pen? There really isn't. Like, the original Bellezzas, Grande Bellezzas that I had, were cartridge converter. They're a little bit easier to clean out than a piston filling pen, but to be honest, I prefer the extra capacity for holding ink with a piston filling pen. So for me, I'd say that this writes really well. I'm not normally an extra fine nib kind of person though. So for me, if I went for this pen, I'd probably go for a medium or maybe a broad. I've had a medium before in a malachite, and that wrote really, really lovely. I had a broad in the rhodolite model, and I found that wrote a little bit too broad actually. So I would say if I were to go for this pen, then I would go for this in a medium pen. But for me, I think this is a really great pen. So I'd like to thank Michael from Manuscript Pen Company for the loan of this pen for review. They are the UK distributors for Pineider and many other pen brands. And I'd like to thank Michael once again for loaning me this pen for review. You can check out their website at manuscriptpen.com. And that's my review of the Pineider La Grande Bellezza in the forged carbon in a 14 karat gold extra fine nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.